Everybody, please have a seat. We're getting started. If everyone can please have a seat, we're getting started. I'd like to call to order our regular city council meeting. The date is February 21st. The time is 8:31 p.m. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilperson Miller Anderson.
Present.
Councilperson Botel.
Here.
We received written notification that Councilperson McCord will be absent tonight due to an emergency. Chair Pro Tem Lanier.
Here.
Chairperson Lawson.
Here.
Mayor Ronnie Felder. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum. You may proceed. I'm sorry. City Manager Jonathan Evans. Deborah Hall McCullum, the acting city clerk, is present. And City Attorney Don Nguyen.
Present.
Okay, you may proceed, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If we can have a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Ms. Miller Anderson. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions from staff?
None from staff, Mr. Chair.
Any from the board?
No.
Board members, let's see if we wanted to entertain moving to consent, item 11C. That's going to be the demolition of the police station.
I'm good with that. I'm good.
Any additional deletions, deletions, substitutions? Disclosures from the board? Can I have a motion to adopt with necessary changes?
Motion to adopt the changes. Second.
Motion been made and properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Miller Anderson. Councilperson Botel.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier.
Yes.
Chair Lawson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine, and action will be taken by one motion. There's no separate discussion of these items unless a councilperson so requests. In the event, it will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence. Does anyone want to pull an item from the consent agenda? We've moved 11C to consent. Do we have any public comments on consent, Madam Clerk?
We do not have any public comments on consent. The acceptance of cards is now closed.
Thank you. Motion to adopt consent?
To adopt the consent agenda.
Motion been made and properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel.
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier. Chair Lawson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
We're going to go straight into our public comment. Public comments will begin at 7:30 unless there's no further business of the City Council, in which the event shall begin sooner. In addition, if items being considered at 7:30, then comments from the public shall begin immediately following the items concluded. Please be reminded the City Council Board has adopted rules of decorum governing public conduct during official meetings, which has been posted at the front desk. In an effort to preserve order, if any of the rules are not adhered to, the City Council Chairman may have a disruptive speaker or attendee removed from the podium, from the meeting, or from the building. Please govern yourselves accordingly. Madam Clerk, how many public comment cards do we have?
We have 21 comment cards, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
The acceptance of public comment cards is now closed. First, we have Glenn Spiritus, followed by Scott Lewis and Derek Burns.
Good evening, Chair, City Council, City Manager, neighbors, city staff. I hate to bring this up again, but I have to talk about the water. As you know, water is a human right, and without clean water, we don't have the city. I heard many comments made before. I received an e-blast from my council person telling me the water never made it, the E. coli, fecal never made it into the drinking water. Then I hear from the mayor's investigation that from the county says that that fecal and E. coli did make it into the drinking water system. So I don't know how we can trust anyone that's giving us information right now. I'm looking forward to the mayor's OIG investigation. I think the whole city is waiting for that. You might want to consider bringing the EPA in here. They do have technical staff that will come in here and advise the city. Going back, Councilman Lawson, when you mentioned the revolving loan program before, once again, I want to bring up, of course, I brought this up over 3 years ago to the city council, the revolving loan program. You don't pay one nickel until the plant is actually open and operating. I think you should keep that in mind. And that you might want to apply for it again. As I said before, May is the period. They will give you money for your design work. You'll get it at about 2% interest. You'll get close to 20% grant. But at the end of the when the project is done, they'll take about 20%, turn it into a grant based on the medium income in the city, and the city's income is below Florida State's medium earning incomes. So we will qualify for that. So that's very important that you look into that program. You get into it. Once again, any grants you get will be deducted from the loan money, whatever percentage you have, whatever else you need. I certainly suggest you fight with your members of Congress and go for appropriations money. I've done this in the past. I've testified before congressional hearings on water issues and brought home some bacon. And I think you ought to do the same thing with this program. As we said before, the Vice President of the United States thinks so highly of this program as our president that they've dumped billions and billions and billions of dollars into the revolving loan program on top of the already existing budget. So please take this into consideration. May is the deadline for the next quarter. Please be ready. You have enough information available right now. Please get on this. We can't wait any longer. As you know, the longer it takes to build this plant, I know they say it's going to be open in 2027. As one of the speakers said, we know from doing large projects, that's hopeful thinking. The odds are things will happen and it will be longer. So please move forward on that program. Thank you.
Thank you for comments, Mr. Spears.
Scott Lewis, Derek Burns, and Dr. Philip M. Dukes.
Welcome, sir.
Hi, Scott Lewis. I didn't intend to talk about this, but after hearing the president and hearing residents talk about water meters breaking and not being read right, and then you got to go clean them and take the lime out, and it's, what are y'all doing for my stomach? What about my grandkids' intestines? You gonna come clean them out? I do not, I'm sorry. I don't trust the information you all are giving. It dribbles out. Ms. Patel tells me 27%, don't worry, that's all right, last fall when I came in. And now I find out that's an interim increase because you're going to increase again next year. And then, wait a minute, we got $55 million for the parks. We don't know a plan specifically. We got to go negotiate with the school board, but we need the money now. Why? You're not ready. I'm voting against that. I made my mind up tonight. I'm voting against all three of your bonds because you're not ready. You don't deserve my trust when I have been lied to. And I've been lied by a cover-up. And I said that last month, and I'm saying it again. I'm calling you all out because you're responsible. You, ma'am, you knew. You should have known in September when I stood here and asked about that 27% that your water system was failing. And you all knew nothing about it. I don't really know whether I trust that. I don't know how many people in this room, not the government staff, I'm talking about residents who pay the bills, how many of them trust you with $100 million when we hear we got 200 million more coming at us in the fall, but wait a minute, 100 million pavement. Oops, the water system pipes are 80 years old. We're going to have another couple $100 million. Oh, we need a castle for a city administration building, another biggest one in the county. Let's go ahead and spend all these people's money. And my stomach is more important than the buildings, than monuments, than castles. They can wait a year. My stomach can't. My grandkids can't. You all need to address this stuff now. Put this 3 bonds on hold and go readdress it when you got a full picture in the fall, when it matters, because we want water. We want money on water. The fire stations, the castles, the police stations, they're all living but they're not going to be living with that bad water. All right? So please focus, refocus. And I'm voting no. Thank you.
I don't believe Derek Burns is here. Dr. Philip M. Dukes, Lloyd Brown, and John Hurt.
Welcome, Dr. Dukes.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor, City Manager, Dr. Philip M. Dukes, 181 West 18th Street. You guys got your hands full, but I really believe you guys gonna stand up and meet this challenge. Although I do agree with that gentleman, what he said, even though I didn't come to talk about that, but I agree with him. This should be the number one priority, this water issue, because my children and my wife have skin issues, and there's going to be some serious lawsuits levied at you if you don't fix this. You got to fix this. This has to be the number one priority. Now, what I really want to talk to you about is about Black history. You know, Black history is very, very important. I'm going to be talking to you about Black history, and I did a study, and I found out 80% of the residents on the west side believe some form of the Christian faith. And I found the same numbers when I walk on Singer Island. So I'm going to be using the Bible as a history book to start teaching Black history. And one of the problems we have in America is Black history, and it's because of what's been taught. Now, and it's a few fellows that we want to look at: Richard Barton, Samuel Baker, and Friedrich Hegel. I only have time to refer to one. Richard Barton said this in the 1860s. The study of the Negro is the study of man's rudimental mind. He appears to be a degeneracy from the civilized man, never reaching the state of not having the true mantle of humanity. He seems to be as one of those childish races falling out from human nature. He has no rich nature. That's what they were teaching. That's what the founding fathers believed about Black people. That's why so many of our Eurocentric brothers and sisters think the way they think, because we've never addressed the ideology and the philosophy of what America taught from its foundation, right up in its books, taught from Harvard to whatever Eurocentric institution that they had. They didn't take that out of the books until the 80s, and when they took it out, it was still in their ideology. Eurocentric supremacy, Black ignorance. And that's a lot of problem why you have problems, how they view you. So we have to fix this through teaching. So I'm asking us to not just teach Black history from slavery. That's what happened to us that we came through. So I'm going to be addressing these things because we have to stop us against them, and we should lead Riviera Beach. As I said in 2002, when I first came over here, we should lead in all things, not running over here and over yonder trying to see what they're doing. We're the last Black city in America with our types of demographics, and we have some brilliant people in this city in all cultures. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dukes.
Next is Lloyd Brown, John Hurt, and Worry Leonard.
Oh, man, how y'all doing? You know what? I know y'all talk about rules in this place, but I mean, do they only affect the people out here? I mean, because I was ran out of here. You know, I set that up. Let me tell you. I was ran out of here the last meeting, and I only done that because I wanted to see, you know, how he discriminated against people. He don't need that position. He really don't. If you can't control everybody with the same rules, then don't try to tell me about what the rules are to when a man sitting right on the side of you, steady talking, you didn't close it down. They wanted me to join the Crips. They told me I had to kill somebody, right? So they had something on me. Do he got something on you? I just want to know, because you let him continue talking. And I think y'all should have the same rules that we have out here. I done seen you put out people who talk against you, but when you got somebody up here talking for you, they'll sit up here and talk 2 or 3 minutes more, or they won't be ran out of here. Because I done seen a lady standing here and call another lady an N-word, and she still was in here. All I did was say that was wrong, and in a New York second, you had my behind going out the door. I told the officer, I said, I'm gonna do this anyway. I just set you up. If you can't control your position, you shouldn't be the chairman. You should be sitting somewhere outside or somewhere. No, you don't want to go outside. You should be sitting somewhere else. You shouldn't have that position. Because you know what? If I coach the basketball team, I'm going to tell them fellas, the rules I got goes for everybody on the team. I'm just not going to let the guys who are really good do what they want to do, or they got something on me because they know something I did, in the past. I mean, what is the deal with that? Why do you get up here and tell us about the rules of this place when you don't follow them strictly? You act like, the police force is doing really good. I just had to say that. When you here, you sit in here and you spread out that, but you only come at me because I ain't got nothing on you. But it's like, that's wrong. What you did was wrong, running me out of here, and you didn't run that man out. Don't the rules go for everybody? Or you discriminate against, my friends, they can get the advantage. That's like the chief saying, well, Lord, me and you friends, you can do 45 in the 30-mile zone, but I don't want that man down there doing 40 or 1 mile over the zone, because I'm not going to, let him do that, but I'll let you do it because you my friend, or you got something on me. That's a shame, man. And like with the water plant, you should have never built the fire station. You could put fecal water on a fire anytime, but you can't drink it.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Next, Madam Clerk.
Next is John Hurt, followed by Worry Leonard and Mr. Derek Dorset.
Welcome, Mr. Hurd. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor Felder, Councilman President Lawson, Pro Tem Lanier, council persons, city manager. I'm John Hurt. I'm the executive director of the Riviera Beach Housing Authority. First of all, I'd like to thank this council for supporting us and giving direction to the city manager to work with us with our requests for surplus parcels so that we can develop affordable housing. The council gave that direction in November and hoping to bring something back to this body by January. We had anticipated that we would get funding from the county this first quarter, and that has come to be. There are funding opportunities now available starting on March the 7th. We've been working with the manager and the staff and our development team trying to address all of the issues and challenges, both legal and civil, so that we can make this transfer of properties happen. But we're here today to say that we haven't quite got to that goal. Time is of essence as far as we're concerned, and I'm here to ask this council's consideration to either accelerate that approval so that we would be in position to make application by March 7th, or at the very minimum, give direction to the city manager to provide a letter indicating that this transfer of parcels will happen prior to that March 7th date, or at least March 30th. That's the lowest level of site control that we can demonstrate in any application to the county. This is the opportunity that we were looking for to try to develop affordable housing in the city, both for sale and for workforce housing. So the time is now, and I just once again ask your support as we move forward in trying to meet these goals. So once again, the due dates are March 7th. We're here in February. We have a very short time if we're to try to take advantage of these funding opportunities. So I solicit your support at the very minimum, giving a letter saying that this will occur, in a timely fashion, because that's the lowest level of site control that we can have for applications. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Hurd, and thank you for your comments.
Next is Worry Leonard, Derek Dorset, followed by Alfred Fields.
Welcome, Ms. Leonard.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Give honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Riviera Beach has the slogan, the best place to live, work, and play. Well, I'm here to talk about play today. We have a lot of events. We have a lot of programs within the city. We have buildings that accommodate people all during the day, all during the week. My problem is that we don't have a residence and a non-residence fee. They come into our city, they use our building, they take over with our employees, they take everything, and then at the end of the day, they go home. They don't pay taxes here. So you need to have a non-resident fee. When I go to another city, I have to pay a non-resident fee. And they check my ID. So we need to start checking IDs. And if they don't live in this city, they need to pay some here. Because it's tired of robbing Paul to pay Peter, because Paul is tired. So we need to up it and make everybody pay. If they want to play here, from the water to the basketball courts, let them play. We welcome everybody, but everybody got to pay their penny. And speaking of a penny, I need to say also, I got deathly sick the 1st of July, not knowing that this water was contaminated. I ended up 2 weeks under doctor's care till my nose bled. I was sick. Nobody notified me that the water was contaminated. My doctor had to switch from medication to medication till finally she found what finally eased my stomach. I was one step from the hospital, and I don't appreciate that as a resident. Tell me the truth. Let me determine what I need to do. I'm for you, but you can't be against me in the dark. Thank you.
Mr. Derek Dorset, Alfred Fields, and Margaret Shepherd. As Mr. Dorset comes before the board, you have been provided a copy of a code compliance inspection report that was provided by Mr. Dorset.
Good evening, council. I just want to say we don't want to become Flint, Michigan #2. So let's tighten up and get this thing done immediately. Number 2, I want to just give a shout out to the Riviera Beach Police Department. They have been doing an excellent job patrolling the streets. I do see them parked in different parts of the city, and that helps a lot keep the crime down. I'm just wondering also, I need to be able to speak to somebody about getting some speed bumps on my street, because we have a lot of kids now in that particular neighborhood on 30th Street in the 1400 block. And I can't tell you how many cars go through there like it's 95. And it's getting ridiculous. It's mostly younger people that are coming through the neighborhood doing that. You won't get that from the actual residents that own property there. I noticed it's a lot of, because I just had to stop somebody that was at a house just up the street, and I had to tell him, you need to slow down. And he wanted to get in a fight with me, literally. And I had to call the police to, negotiate that. When you're wrong, you're wrong. And you're on my street, you're in my neighborhood, slow down before you kill one of these kids. So we need to make sure I need to find out how to get the speed bumps on my street. Number 3, I was given a violation by code enforcement they did an inspection on 211. Now, prior to that, I had sent a public records request to ask for any violations at my address. That should have took no more than a day or 2. I didn't get that until a couple of days ago from last month. And then when they presented it to me, they presented me with another new violation. So they did this harassing me now. And if you look at what they're harassing me about, it's laughable. It's uncalled for. I can tell you there's a property at the corner of 36th Street and R Avenue on the northeast corner. That property has been that way for 40 years or more. And nothing has been done. If you look at that yard, it looks like Fred Sanford and worse. So the stuff that they're trying to violate me on is nonsense. And this signage thing here, I'm voting for Trump. That Trump sign is there and it's going to stay there.
Thank you for your comment, sir.
Next is Alfred Fields, Margaret Shepard, and Frank Grant.
Good evening to Chairman, the Pro-Chair, and the Mayor and the entire council. Let me first by saying thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you do for the city. And I know that it's not an easy job. And I know that sometimes things are said and you're accused of things that may not be true. But unfortunately, you're the buffer between the city staff and the residents. So that's why I first start out by saying thank you for being that buffer. And so I'm just going to go right into, I came out tonight representing the NAACP in this area. I'm the president of the branch. And so I came tonight on a fact-finding mission, wanting to hear more about the issues that I'm starting to get emails and calls about. And I got here tonight and I was going to listen as much as possible and then make comments. And I got my comment card, but I didn't get an agenda. So I didn't know where, and I thought maybe it was me, and I asked around and not many or anybody got a copy of an agenda to actually comment during the comment section of the session. So I did get one in for this meeting, but I do want to ask that this commission give the residents the information they need. We rely on you. And so the question is that everyone wants to know, well, what happened? How did it fail? Where did the system fail? And I know the mayor is investigating that, but everybody wants to know the who, the what, the when, the where, the how. How often has it happened and not been reported? Everybody's concerned. Everybody wants to know the answers. Help us get the answers. And Mayor, I'm asking, work with us to have a meeting with the residents so we can answer those questions. It's hard to get answers in this formal setting, the way the citizens want to have a discussion about this. We want to be able to talk and get through it. And I know it's difficult. But then back to the monies that's being asked, we got a referendum that's on the ballot. Ballot's already gone out. We're trying to encourage residents to vote, and they don't have an idea what they're voting on. They don't know whether they should be voting on these referendums on bond issues or not voting because they're going to be hit with monies to pay, add to their water bill after they've been hit with monies added to their tax bill, which they don't really understand that this money is going to be added to their tax bill. We need
Thank you for your comments, Mr.
documentation.
Fields.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Margaret Shepard, Frank Grant, and Terrence Davis.
To the Honorable Mayor of this great city and to all of you in your respectful places. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for coming over to Lindsay Davis Thanksgiving Day, and of course to our police chief. I just really enjoyed them coming over. Miss Deborah Hall McCullum, who's I think the interim clerk, did a fabulous job, and Dan Calloway, fabulous job, Pop Wynn, and they just had a great time. And I think this city, and of course, Miss Botel, always the service. She was just so sharp serving the seniors. And you know, they thank you for that, Julie Botel. They were nudging each other, telling me, she's still serving. And I said, I heard her say, that's my job. And I said, leave her alone, leave her alone. But we just enjoyed you so much. I want you to know that. I want to go into, once again, the bonds. I only sat in the room for an hour and I listened to them talk about the bonds. And the ones I've been talking to, I explained to them I couldn't support it, but I don't pressure anybody. I just give my reasons and they move on to decide how they want to do it. But I think it's imperative that we wait till after this election. You're going to force maybe two people to come in and they might not like the layout of what's going on in the city. So we have to be very careful of how we be transparent. Let me use that word. Miss Miller Anderson, you are really a stateswoman. I just like how you just handle yourself. Although your husband always told me you stay right in your lane, and you do. Everything he said was true. So many people ask me to start recruiting people that's in college and want to come home. And when Miss Lady Goldwire asked me, well, it wasn't too much I could do. I just started referring him to men because I thought he just needed men to and I'm very proud of him. The one thing I'm very upset, because I don't think you did it or Botel, take these signs up. I think it's just people that just want to start a friction. I think they feel like they just want to get something going in the city. And a lot of people don't know those signs cost a lot of money, And he was heartbroken. And I had to say to him, Leroy, this is the nature of the beast. You're running against a stateswoman, one also. And you have to know one thing, that this is a part of it. It will not get easy. It will get hard. And I'm just so very proud of him that he just allowed himself to be that man that he is. I made sure and told him, whatever he do not disrupt your service until after election. I thank you for your service. Thank you too, Dr. Patel. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
Frank Grant, Terrence Davis, and Cindy March.
Welcome, Mr. Grant.
Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you. Thanks for having me. My name's Frank Grant, first meeting. My question is pertaining to the bonds. I know some people touched on it previously. The Parks bond, $55 million. You're asking us to vote on that March 19th, I believe. No agreement set with the school district on where some of the property is going to go. It just looks like ghost money for the most part. So I just want to know if there's no agreement in place and we do vote on it and it does pass, where's the money going? Is it some of it going to go to Wells to renovate that a little bit? I know there's money going over to Dan Calloway, different things of that nature. And if we don't have an agreement, how are we going to even use the money to a degree, you know? I think some other people might have that same question as well. Just as if you all would want to know from our upper management, if it's the police chief, it's the city manager, a direct plan. You want to know up front what's going on so that you can diminish that to the people. I think we need to see a plan too. Maybe we need to see a draft. I know they have advisory meetings for council about different agenda, things that's on the agenda. Maybe we can have a meeting just to see specifically what that bond is, how the design layout going to be, or different things of that nature. Maybe it can't happen. I don't know. But I think we just want to see because we just really don't know. And that's a lot of money that's going to get spent. And yeah, I mean, if I'm going $55 million, maybe we can tack that on to the water department thing, help out with all the water that we need going on. It's a start. I mean, if I'm going to go in debt, I'm going to go in debt about my water. And if that's going to affect my kids, as everybody else done said, and my mom, or my sister, my brother, even some of you all with the tax debt, yeah, let me see where it's going first. Let me decide for that, That's all.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Grant.
Terrence Davis, Cindy March, and Michael Jordan.
Welcome, Mr. Davis.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Grant did a wonderful job with the questions that are being proposed. A lot of residents have those concerns. Thanks again, Terrence Davis, longtime, lifelong resident, council chair, vice chair, mayor, residents of Riviera Beach, I bring greetings in peace, but always asking information as I present information based upon facts and history. In 2016, I was the chair of the Utility District Board. In 2016, I was responsible for working with 4 of the board members and signing off on $40 million. $40 million. And we had a plan. And in that plan, we talked about the infrastructure under the ground, and we started working in Morrow Heights. If everybody recall, all those pipes, it was all up under the street. I didn't care about the design of the road that was done, but we did take care of the infrastructure starting on phase 1. What happened since then? Well, I can tell you what happened. Had 6 utility directors. And no one's asking the question, why all 6 professionals leave a $135,000 a year job? Why are they leaving? What is it they know that we don't know? Ask yourselves that. What is it that these directors know that we don't know? All the projects that's been discussed in these debates, I take great pride and joy of being on the council in 2013, 14, and 15 and approving those projects. But they filter over into this new council. But a lot of those projects came from 2011 and 2012 funding. I want to see some new projects, and the only new project I want to see is a real plan on how we're going to address this water plant. Dr. Glenn Spiritus had came to this council and supported brought his professionalism to get us funding before he even thought about running for council. We talk about projects and we don't even have a purchasing director and all this stuff going out on the street. Who's going to supervise these projects? If you don't have a director over purchasing, who's going to supervise everything that's going on the street, the bonding? What is our bonding capacity? Why haven't we had in 6 years any mid-year budget workshops every January? That's something the previous council did. The city knew what we was going to do. We included them in it. We didn't ask about imaginations and reimagine this and reimagine that. We had a real plan. And we left this city in great shape with an A bond rating. A- bond rating. And all the money was spent and nothing was spent on water. That's a problem. We have to find a way to use the people in our community who have the experience and know the folks who have the expertise to make sure that your staff have more support. Because obviously what you have is not enough.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Cindy March, Michael Jordan, and Dolores Williams.
Good evening, council.
Ms. March.
I'm Cindy March. You know, I was behooved by Ms. Graham hooping and hollering up here. Talking about they're doing a fantastic job and with the water. And I think I seen her about 3 or 4 times on the TV with the news people in her kitchen saying how dirty the water was and the water wasn't fit and she don't drink the water. But she want to give y'all a hand clap. We're not going there tonight. Don't ever see me in a grocery store in the street and come up in my face again. It's not a threat, it's a promise. And talk about none of these people up here on this board. And then when you get up here, you want to give them a hand clap. Be real to yourself. Be honest with yourself. All I ask you all is for transparency and honesty to these residents where I go knock on the doors. I'm on the phone calling them. They having candid conversations with me. It's not about politics over the people no more, okay? We're done with that. And when it's on your watch, it's not on the watch before you all. It's on your watch. And we have been misled. We haven't had an update yet. We haven't had no Cheney Brothers truck out there with water to give people. You understand me? That's a little small things. If you can give out turkeys and go get our inner city kids that's not clean and walk them in the parade with a bucket of Dollar Tree candy, you need to give us some clean water to drink in our house because it can get to be very expensive. Enough is enough. We're better than that. We want this city unified. But in order to be unified, you are our leaders. We look up to you all. The people out there look up to somebody like me and Ms. Graham when she do tell the truth. But we got to stop with the foolishness. We got to stop because what's going to happen, you're going to have a class action lawsuit on your hand and you ain't going to have no money to build no water plant. Because you know why? People going to leave up out the city and you ain't gonna have nothing to run with the city. So you need to get to the bottom of this. I don't believe in snatching the fork out nobody's mouth, but a rule is a rule. If I said it for John, I'm gonna say it for Mary, and that's the way it's gonna go. It's not about friendship. It's not about personal fidelis. It's about telling the truth to these people out here. Okay, I went to the debate on Monday. You all still talking about it was clean water. Oh, I can't talk about it because it's up under investigation. But you still made in your statement, there's nothing wrong with the water, Botel and Kashama. Enough is enough. Have a good night.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. March.
Michael Jordan, Dolores Williams, and Erica Davis.
All right, I'm coming up to be respectful again. First of all, I believe in giving credit where credit is due. I have to give much respect to Chairperson Lawson for what I witnessed tonight, for you telling the individual employee, the gentleman that's over the utility, that he has to come to you with the proof. That's the only way that we will be able to do things and do it in a business manner. Everything has to be documented. Even with the movement of the money throughout the city, like Mr. Davis was talking about with purchasing, you don't have a purchasing director. You have to have a handle on everything, because it seems like a lot of the developers that's coming in, they think Riviera Beach is a cash cow. Okay, you coming in to do stuff to redevelop. You sat up here, you went over your plan. The plan didn't make sense. You understand what I'm saying? They still didn't answer the question about how long it would take. You understand what I'm saying? We have a lot of different issues going on. And I have one recommendation from what I witnessed here tonight and when I'm at home watching on the TV. There has been a very bad broken bond between the city officials and the community. You need to develop some kind of session for us to come back together, be on one accord so that we can work together. Because team stands for together, everyone achieves more. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's about us as a whole. And like I'm saying, people come up here and give their comments. Yeah, I know sometimes things may get a little disrespectful and it may rub us the wrong way because we're human. But if I was sitting up there, you can say whatever you want to say. I'm not upset about it. That's your right to talk. My concern is about what I voted no on. It's going to be no. And what I voted yes on is going to be yes. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have time to argue backwards and forth about you making a public comment about me. My job is to do what I'm supposed to do at the city. So like I said, we have other things to focus on. It's a beautiful city. Let's get it together. Let's work together and keep the people that want to milk the city and come in here and not do what they're supposed to do out. Just like the young lady said, you know, we need to charge a non-residence fee. And like I say, I respect that everybody up there, but I'm talking facts. You know, it's nothing personal against anybody. If you feel a certain type of way, then that's something you have to sleep on, not me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not being disrespectful. I respect everybody up there. But what I'm saying, we have to get to the business, focus on the business, and stay on the business. Because like I'm saying, you built the whole new fire station and the kids have nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? We have to get this thing together. And I didn't say you, I said we. We all have to come on one accord. So that's just the only thing that I want to say, to be respectful to all of you all. You all have a good night and think about it.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Dolores Williams, Erica Davis, and Miss Delcia Hamilton Bruce.
Good evening again. I would like to comment on the police department, because I had a family member that where a terrible thing had happened, but they are on the job. So we want to thank our new chief and all our other officers that have been here for what you still at me. But I just want to thank them. And then where I live, you say the fire hydrant. I live one house from the street. It's the fire hydrant been wrapped up for the longest. So if a fire come out, will I be able to get the fire hydrant to save my house? I need them to check that fire hydrant right on the corner of 9th and Australia. And some people say the water's low pressure, is running slow. So we need to get that straightened out. And I was listening at, you had the people up there. And the finance man, Mr. Sherman, was explaining more about how the system worked than the man that's
supposed to be working at the utility place. So we ought to make sure we have the right people up there that's going to explain everything. And then, I feel like there's nothing wrong with getting investors in here. But I think they was talking about the brand thing the other night at the debate. It was a wonderful debate. Wonderful debate. But, they always branding us. But to me, it seemed like you bring the investors in, they building where they should have built some houses. And yet they say, I think they say this is a sucker city. We could just go in and say, we're going to bring in this here and just get all this money and don't produce nothing. So I want to say this here. I tried to do this once before, but they didn't want to see it. Right on the corner, Obama and Blue Heron. It's a mobile station. And if y'all go out there, I'm telling y'all the city, y'all think y'all paying out money now, but you let somebody fall in this big old hole with the city sidewalk in that business there. They need to have someone to go out there. You see this big old hole here? I mean, it is big. It's the whole water meter thing completely gone out. Somebody gonna walk. I almost fell in it today. Thank God I didn't. I wasn't gonna sue the city, but I sure didn't want to be hurt. And then on 28th Street, you could get the people to go out and pick up right across from Me Mama restaurant where the man got killed years ago. That place closed up. Go and look at that right from the corner. All that trash just piled up there. We want the city where we can work, live, and play. We want it to be beautiful. I told you I was going to ride around and take pictures of stuff, and I'm getting them for you. So all the money we going to do, we get it. And please, like I asked you, I can't. Oh, yeah.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Erica Davis, Miss Delcia Hamilton Brooks, and Fane Mosman.
Welcome, Ms. Davis.
Hello. Erica Davis, Riviera Beach. I have 3 minutes. I've got to talk real fast. First of all, I hear people coming up here talking out of both sides of their mouth. Either you want the water plant to be built or you don't. They have explained 1,000,000 times over that all the facilities were deteriorating years ago. No one seemed to address it on the board years ago. And Terrence Davis needs to stop coming up here addressing anything with his $2,000 Darth Vader boots that he spent on the budget. Okay? He needs to stop coming up here because under his watch, not a police department, not a fire station, not a water plant, not anything got done. So, all of it, I know it's election season and everybody's the water. But you have to pay for the water. Water's not going to come out of money's not going to come out of the sky to pay for it. Either you want it done or you don't. You have addressed it already. What more do you need to talk about? Yes, whoever did not notify the residents, there needs to be consequences. We know that already. We've been knowing this for a whole month now. So we need to leave that alone. What are you going to do? Are you going to vote on bonds to get the fire station done or the police department done? Yes, the water should have been addressed. It should have been number one. Bonds should have been approved for the water plant. But we had people coming in here, Mr. Tragic McCoy, he wanted to sue Mr. Evans for doing that, wanting to raise the taxes on it or having a discussion. We have had workshops about this. This is no secret. But when you don't participate, you don't come to the meetings, you don't come to the workshops, how do you know? You only know one side of the story. And then people just sat up here and explained everything. We've been explaining this over and over again. It's election season, Mayor. Do better. Stop bringing this up. You know the facts already. You know the facts. You know the facts. Did you go to a bond meeting? Do you know what bonds are about? Do you know how bonds work? Do you know how they work, Mayor? Do you know that they're the things that we need to build facilities in the city? If these things were addressed years ago, if one government facility would have been done per year, now we're backed up against the wall. People's health are in trouble. So there's no way out of this. And when you go for grants, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Evans or somebody on the board, but you have to be, it's like a lottery. You have to be chosen to be approved for that grant. It's not like you go up to Tallahassee or Washington, D.C. You got to be approved for it.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Delcia Hamilton Brooks, Fane Lozman, and Doretta Polk.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Chair, Mayor, and City Manager. I'm just going to keep this short. I just wanted to find out, if I'm not mistaken, I believe if it's not a couple years ago, wasn't there an infrastructure funding that came down from the Joe Biden infrastructure bill? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the city of Riviera Beach was awarded over 200 million. So I'm not sure what was done with those funds. And another thing, in reference to the company who is supposedly going to be building the water treatment plant. Now, was that, when the RFP went out, was that a joint venture with the city and that particular company? And if that's the case, then aren't they supposed to put their own funding instead of needing more money? And I strongly believe the reason why we're in this position that we're in is because we don't have enough projects that have gone up in the past to generate revenue for the city. So we don't find ourselves in this position where we're needing, bond money and having to take out loans. We need more projects, more businesses coming into this city so that the residents can spend their money here, so that taxes can be spent here and not in the surrounding community. Now, about kicking the ball down the road, or the can down the road, with this water treatment plant, I can attest to that because I feel the same way. I've been trying to bring money into this city for the longest time. It's taken me 9 years, and my money is good money. And I'm a Black woman, professional Black woman. I've ran businesses all over the county. I've owned a travel agency in Boca Raton for over 15 years, ran different restaurants. So what is wrong with me not giving the opportunity to bring revenue into the city and to employ the community? So we need to bring more revenue in so that we can get more coming down from the federal government so that they can supplement, what we basically need. So, I think that's what we need to focus on, getting more businesses into this city and stop kicking the ball down the road and allowing a professional like me to participate and to help the city grow. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Brooks.
Fane Lozman, Doretta Polk, and Harold Caudio.
Welcome, Mr. Lozman.
Good evening, Fane Lozman. The audio from this speaker to the back is pretty poor. You could have the technician try to, do better, not only tonight, but in the past. I have a hard time hearing what's going on here. I have two topics to speak about. When you say the Pledge of Allegiance, you say liberty and justice for all. As I've been getting ready for a legal proceeding, I looked at a privilege log prepared by the city attorney. Over a course of 3 years, there's 160 emails that were considered privilege. And those emails went to Ms. Nguyen, Ms. Busby, Mr. Sermons, Mr. Gagnon, Sammy Brown. I don't see Kashal Miller Anderson on there. I didn't see the mayor. I didn't see Lawson. And basically, it was a conspiracy to try to deprive me of my civil rights, deprive me of electric, of a fence, of the use of my property. So without the approval of the 5 of you up there, or let's say the 4 of you up there, because Botel and Sammy Brown were some of those emails, there was a conspiracy done by your staff behind the scene. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution said we treat everybody equally. There's like a shadow government that's going on. So that's a pretty strong assertion to make. That's an assertion that if I find the time and want to spend more of my net worth fighting it out, that's an assertion that a federal judge can look at these emails and look what these city employees have done at the behest of Botel and Interlandi and Gagnon, and we'll see where that goes. But that's a multi-year expensive battle to fight out, but I do have the privilege log if the four of you want to look at it. Now, I don't, as a taxpayer, my friends and I still own 71 acres of property in Singer Island. It still costs millions of dollars to buy that. Okay, so we have a right in where our money is spent and how our city looks. One of the reasons, I don't really like any of you up there, but I respect two people. I respect Lawson, and I respect McCoy, because they fought the battle to make sure our city manager did not get paid $425,000. So during the pandemic, he made more than the president. Those two men up there fought to stop that. Shirley Lanier did not like that. Shirley Lanier went after Lawson with an investigation over some incident, and then Shirley Lanier went to try to take down McCoy with a complaint to the governor. That has bothered me. I looked in my files, and I have tens of thousands of documents, and I pulled out of my documents, Miss Lanier, that I'm going to send to the governor. When you got fired in April of 2017, I have your exit interview. And with that exit interview is your drug test from the medical review service out in Illinois or something. But it's redacted. Why don't you unredact it? I'm going to give it to the clerk, and you can show when you tested positive for cocaine that you've lied about. So I'm going to hand this to the clerk, and I want to see the unredacted
Thank you for your
version.
comments, Mr. Logan.
Doretta Polk, Harold Cardio, and Mrs. Mary Brown.
Is Ms. Polk here? Welcome, Ms. Polk.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Doretta Polk, and I'm a resident of Riviera Beach. And I want to start out saying that I must apologize for this is Deborah Hall, because the last meeting, I thought I put my mark that I want to speak on a certain thing, which I was in error, and I want to just apologize to you. Thank you. Now, concerning, I was at the meeting on Monday, and I want to clarify a couple of things that was said that Councilperson Kashamba Miller Anderson and also Dr. Patel said. What they said is now at this point, the water is fine to drink. Let's just make that clarification. That's what they said. Also, we were able to put in a questions. If you had a question, I had a question, and it was taken off being stated what I wanted to say. So I talked to the narrator. She was very kind, and she was telling me about it was to go to see the president of the NAACP. That's Mr. Fields. I talked to him concerning my concerns. Why was my little card taken off? He told me that he didn't feel it was appropriate. Now, the NAACP serves to work for the advocacy to ensure all Black voices are heard and are met, and their demands met, and the Black excellency is amplified. What my question was, it was directed to Mr. Spiritus, and also I was going to tell him if each of the people that's on the diocese at that time could answer. Would you ever speak to a Black senior citizen, and regardless of even really what color they are, we're going to take that off the table. Ask a person, if you were elected to the council, what will you bring and do for the citizens of Riviera Beach? And I was told to be quiet and shut up by Mr. Spirits. He told me that. Is this the character that we want on the diocese? It would be chaos up there. So I don't think that I was
Thank you for your
treated
comments,
fairly.
Ms. Pope. Thank you for your comments, Ms.
3
Pope.
years ago, whatever it was,
Thank you for your comments,
it's
Ms.
still
Pope.
wrong, Ms. Williams. It's still wrong.
Ms. Pope, thank you, ma'am.
And I thank you all.
Next is Harold Cardio, Mrs. Mary Brown, and Amon Israel.
Welcome, Ms. Cardio.
How you doing? So good evening, Mayor, Chairman Doug, Don, City Manager Jonathan Evans, and each council city leader here. So I wrote down what I'm gonna say because I'm not much of a speaker. I just like doing art. But lots of people know me as a world-renowned artist. Then again,
I'm sorry, Ms. Hall, pause the time for me. And residents, if we could. Residents, if we please. Thank you, Ms. Hall. Thank you, Ms. Cardio. I apologize. Go ahead. And Ms. Hall, if you could start over for me. Thank you. Mr. Cardio, please.
all right, so yeah, lots of people know me as a world-renowned artist. Then again, lots of people don't know me in our community. My name is Harold Cardio, and I am from Riviera Beach. I've done work for many celebrities and major corporations, and I'm happy that I can make lots of people happy with the art that I'm doing. But what's most important to me is my community. There's a dark energy in the most beautiful community that I know of, Riviera Beach. So Doug Lawson and I, with the support from Jonathan Evans and Mayor Felder, have worked towards bringing some color back to our community. I see how important art is to community growth and redevelopment. So we put together an art exhibition in the Marina's hallway with various talented artists from the city of Riviera Beach. Our reception will be March 1st, and I encourage everybody here to come out to support. Despite the great leadership up here, I've experienced lack of professionalism, condescending behavior, lack of communication, and lack of care for bringing positivity to this community. Because I feel like some of the staff in this community or on the with the city, they put their feelings over the benefit of the entire community. And I feel like the purpose of the exhibition is to reframe our minds and expand our imagination to show that our community has a very colorful imagination. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Mrs. Mary Brown. And the last speaker will be Amon Israel.
Good evening, Ms. Mary Brown, Riviera Beach. Kudos to Mr. Harold Cardio. The Skittles, the portraits out there, Tupac, Michael Jackson, Trayvon Martin, and others. What a magnificent job. What a magnificent job. Well done. And those portraits are made out of Skittles. Skittles. What a unique. It is Black History Month, and I always like to, Miss Hutnell, who can forget Miss Hutnell? Who can forget our historian, Miss Hutnell? Miss Graham also have here 2004. She has all kinds of history stuff. This is the newsletter here in 2004 of the city. And in this newsletter here, it states here, I'm just gonna do a fast little highlight here of this newsletter here. The community center, the Lindsay Davis Senior Community Center was selected as one of the 2004 winners of the FRPA Facility Showcase for the state of Florida.
That's history in your city. Also here, the post office that's located on Blue Heron there. In recognition of the longstanding commitment to South Florida, Congressman Heiston introduced legislation in the 108th Congress renaming the Riviera Beach Post Office after Judge Rogers. That's history. Also current history. Hester, one of our very own, inducted into the Hall of Fame just 2 weeks ago. That's history for us. Coco Gauff, Times Magazine, amongst the most unique women in Times Magazine, along with Taraja P. Henson and others. That's history for us. The new 88 fire station, equipped with handicap, braille for the blind, bringing us into the 21st century. That's history, because we have never, ever had a new facility building that has ever been built in the city of Riviera Beach, except this, what I'm standing on here now. That's history. That's history. And also, Ms. Bram here I have a whole lot of history stuff here. This right here is the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, August the 28th, 1963, at the Lincoln Memorial.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Brown.
This included every nationality.
Thank you for your comments,
It
Ms.
was.
Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Armand Israel.
Welcome, Mr. Amon.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair, Mayor, Council. And thank you very much for bringing art and displaying creativity. I really enjoyed everything out there. Let me say this, the body is made up of over 60% water. The brain is made up of over 75% water. So water is very serious. It's very disturbing to me that the question was not asked, and I really feel like this has really gotten out of control. The question has not been asked, did the director know, or did the director not know to report a positive to the health department? I really like to know the answer to that. Why it wasn't reported. This was recorded, and I heard it, by the assistant director of the water department, told an employee that he didn't want him to be on his S list. I think that's very degrading for someone in that position to say something like that to an employee. That's something, and how does he have the nerve to even say that to an employee? You don't want to be on his S list. There's all kind of questions, there's all kinds of statements being made, and I really would love to hear the facts. I really would love to hear the facts. It's very concerning for the community to be separated, and when they don't have the facts, it leaves room for all kinds of speculations. So I'm hoping that you all will demand that the facts are told. And what's wrong with telling the truth? Everybody in the city know we need a new water department. So why not just tell us the truth? But I really would like to know, did he or did he not know to report it to the health department? And if he knew, why he didn't? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Amon.
Mr. Chair, that concludes public comment, general public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Do you want to address any public comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Thank you.
With respect to the comments from representatives from the Housing Authority, we have an item that we're bringing before the board at your March 6th meeting to give you an update with regards to the city's progress with the Housing Authority concerning the surplus of the properties that was previously discussed. One of the items that was of great importance is the larger site, which is the site that's contiguous to the Boys and Girls Club. And I did have a conversation today with legal representatives from the Housing Authority to help facilitate the appropriate letter that is necessary to accommodate the letter of support to go after some of the county funding. So at minimum, that was something that we were going to bring to you here at your first meeting in March. But staff is working with the Housing Authority to effectively try to resolve the outstanding issues concerning the larger parcel, because it does have some challenges, but not insurmountable, but some things that we definitely need to work through. But we're bringing that before you in March, and so that will effectively be able to provide us with documentation that the Housing Authority can leave after that meeting with the appropriate letter of support to facilitate going after funds. So that is our intent to bring that item before you at your first meeting in March. The item concerning recreational non-resident rate and rate adjustments, that's something that we are certainly looking at. We do have our new Parks and Recreation Director, Mr. Casey Young, in the back of the room. And so, Casey, if you can stand up and wave. And Mr. Young comes to us from, joins the team, previously was employed at City of Boynton Beach, but is a Riviera Beach resident, grew up in our programs, and has a great understanding of some of the things that will help us get our Parks and Recreation department to the 21st century. And so he's a great addition to the team. But that's something that certainly he will be looking at, our rates and programmatic aspects that we can look to improve for Parks and Recreation. Concerning the item on speed bumps, that is something that I will ask for the Public Works Director to make contact with the resident to talk about the process concerning speed bumps. And then there was also the item that was provided concerning code compliance. I will ask that Director Sermons follow up with the individual concerning the items that are contained with respect to the violation. The item concerning the water, obviously we want to make sure that all the information that we provide to the public is factual information and information that is been appropriately provided by virtue of the health department. As soon as all the information is available, we would make it a point to provide it to the city council and the utility district board, and then make that available for public consumption. And so certainly we want to make sure all the information gets out for persons to know exactly what happened concerning that. The Parks and Recreation bonds, or the bonds for that matter, if you visit rivierbeach.com//Go Riviera for general obligation or bonds, you can click on our website and you can find out information concerning our bonds as well as our next meeting. We have some meetings that are already on the schedule. The next meeting we have is Fire Station 88, and that is Thursday, February 29th at 6 p.m., 6 to 8 p.m. Then we have a event also on Saturday, March 2nd from 9 a.m. to 10:30, and that's at Wells Recreation Center. Then we have a virtual option that will be Thursday, March 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. And then we have our final session, which will be Tuesday, March 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. And if anyone is interested in having conversations concerning the bonds, myself and staff will make ourselves available to speak, whether it's individual, whether it's in larger group settings, any opportunity for us to communicate concerning the bonds. We want to make sure that the public is informed. Persons have asked the question, well, why haven't we received information concerning the bonds? I can tell you that in 2023, the state legislature did pass a law that really restricted government's abilities to communicate to the voters any items that are on the ballot for consideration. So we cannot utilize some of the resources that we would normally utilize to inform the public. So this is really a grassroots campaign that if you are interested and you want to find out information concerning our general obligation bonds, please reach out to the contact information we have provided on the website, and we'll make ourselves available to share some information with you. We do have people reaching out, and so we are taking any persons that want to know a little bit more about the general obligation bonds that are on the ballot for March 19th. Concerning investments in the utility district, since 2019, the board has appropriated $55 million towards improvements at the utility district, so significant investments concerning the utility district. We also, since 2019, we've roughly secured $33 million worth of grants. 16 million of that is provided by the CARES monies that we received during the Trump administration. It was mentioned if we received anything through the Biden administration, nothing as of yet, but certainly we are actively looking to obtain any assistance that we can get from the federal government. There was some questions about some of the infrastructure on 9th and Australian, some of the fire hydrants. So we'll have staff go out there and take a look at that. And the utility district RFP process, in that particular solicitation, it was contemplated that funding could be a part of that solicitation, but there is alternative funding that is available to us by virtue of bonds that is cheaper than paying, utilizing private equity to fund the water plant. So that's why that particular element was removed, but it's not a joint venture. It's a fee for service that the firms that you heard from today will provide. Concerning Mr. Cardio's comments, I did receive an email today, which I responded to staff to work and resolve whatever the outstanding issues are, because we believe that the event that he's looking to put on for us is a great event, and it's going to provide a lot of opportunity for our residents to see top quality art from local artists. So we're going to look to resolve any of those particular issues. And that concludes my comments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. And just so that,
Mr. Chair, I have one
go ahead,
question.
go ahead, Mayor.
Mr. Adams, you're going to report on the Housing Authority March 6th, you said?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
And they need that letter by March 7th? Would that be enough time?
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Mr. Evans, go ahead.
My intent is to provide for a resolution that will actually accompany the letter, so it will come prepackaged. And the intent would be, if the board votes in the affirmative, they leave in hand with that particular letter. I can also provide them something that is provided kind of in a draft format if they need it submitted earlier. And then, but we're going to do everything we can to accommodate what the request is. But my intent is to have something complete in hand that they can leave with.
So is this for all the properties, or what are they asking for now? Are they asking for all the properties, or just not the property across the street? What are you guys asking for right now? If I may, Madam, Mr. Chair?
Please, go ahead, man.
What properties are they asking for now for March 7th?
Mr. Chair, more specifically, I think it has been the larger parcel. I think that may be the one that is the larger, that's the larger item that the authority is. But those other smaller parcels are almost at the completed stage. But I think it's Mr. Herder or the team can speak on more specificity, but it is the larger parcel.
Yes, that's correct. We requested 12 parcels, 11 which were single-family housing for sale. The larger parcel, known as the Boys and Girls Club, or the Alpha Site, however you want to describe it, is the larger parcel. But that's the parcel that we would hope to be able to develop 150 units of workforce housing on. So that's the key, and that's the first RFA that's coming out from the county. That's the one that's due March 7th.
How much is the county giving?
Pardon me?
How much is the county giving for that project?
Yeah, they have a $200 million bond out, and there's no real limit to it. What they're doing, they're taking all the applications and see what that total is, and they will go back to the county commission and ask for a bond to cover the amount of approved applications they have in.
Because one thing I don't want to do is, I know we missed out on like $500,000 from me talking with you to the county for infill lot. That's been, what, 8 months ago? When we talked to the county about some infill lots, they had a $500,000 grant. So I want to make sure that we're not missing out on money. Now, does this money just go to the housing authority, or does the city get that money too?
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Mr. Evans, go ahead.
that would be utilized to fund the capital costs associated with the construction, so it would go to the housing authority.
Thank you.
And just to follow up with that, Mr. Evans, I know you want to package that letter within the resolution. And board, I was looking to see if they would indulge giving Mr. Evans direction to provide a letter of support as of now, so the housing authority can begin applications. And then as of March 6th, finalizing it, making sure that it's confirmed with both legal departments that what is put in writing gives them the opportunity to begin these applications. I don't want them March 7th to miss any opportunities if this board formalizes it in resolution on the 6th meeting. So if we can give Mr. Evans direction to provide that letter of support so that he can begin and proceed, so that on March 6th, the resolution can codify that.
Thank
you. Mr. Evans, staff, I'm sorry, board members, are we okay with giving Mr. Evans that clarity for that level of support, to write a letter of support?
Yes, I agree with that.
Dr. Botel? Ms. Miller Anderson?
This is for the property by the.
Yeah,
Boys
this is
and
for the
Girls Club?
11, this is for the 11 lots and the property by the Boys and Girls Club. Yes, ma'am.
And so we'll finalize it though before.
We'll finalize it, but just give me a letter of support so they can begin their applications. Thank you. Okay, and before I do go on, I just wanted to, residents watching home and everyone here, just thank Mr. Harold Cartier, because this young man is curating an amazing art gallery that's actually being put together and presented in our marina foyer. He's actually the gentleman that painted our water tank. So when he says he's a world-renowned international artist, we have somebody from our city doing that artwork right here in our community. This art is secured by artists from our city and community. So all the art that's actually in that area are kids, boys, girls, men, women that actually put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. So we're going to have an art gallery and an art showcase here at the marina. And I want to make sure, Mr. Evans, that staff is on the same page to make things as easy as possible. When we have an international artist like Mr. Harold Cartier coming here to provide his services, when we have Mr. Devin Hester, who is a Hall of Fame football player, who have had disparaging things to say about the city, I want them to make it as easy and seamless for every resident, whether you're a Hall of Famer, international artist, or you're just everyday working individual, not having issues working with the city. I want staff to understand customer service and priority number one, so that they don't have any concerns pushing forward to get things done in the community. And I'm hearing that far too often. So I think we're having some pitfalls and shortcomings when it comes to staff's idea and perception of what we need to do, because the image and optics and how we portray the city and the story and the narrative we tell is what needs to be number one priority. And that's why we have these issues with the water. We have these issues and concerns because we're not telling our story. We're having issues within staff. So I need this individual who's spent day in and day out just trying to prepare for this art gallery to have it showcased just for tonight's meeting with artists from Riviera Beach and kids that actually put their heart into that art to be able to be proud of it. When I saw my little daughter walking up and down that hall tonight, looking at the art in amazement and being able to tell her, hey, those people grew up and live around the corner from us. That was empowering, and I don't want staff to be a hindrance to that. So if we can, make sure that they are impressed with that, okay? Madam Clerk, we do have a time, it is 9:57. Board members, we do need to extend our meeting. Can I have a motion to extend
So moved.
with a time limit? Ms. Miller Anderson? Do we have a motion to extend, and how long?
We can extend till it's done because the agenda doesn't seem that packed, so we can go until it's done.
Okay, motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier?
Yes.
Chair Lawson?
Yes.
That's approved.
Thank you.
Chair,
Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, Pro Tem.
I just want to make sure that we're clear on the issue with the housing authority for March the 6th. I don't want to miss out on opportunity to get this project going. We were promised January and it's almost March.
And I just want to make sure, because this is a very important affordable housing project. This is something that we need to make sure it happens. We need to make sure that it moves forward. And we need to make sure that it moves forward expeditiously, given the nature of this workforce and affordable housing for Riviera Beach. So it is my understanding that on March the 6th, what's going to happen?
Mr. Evans?
Chair, if I may.
Please.
There will be a resolution and a letter that will be placed on the agenda that effectively provides for a letter of support. And in that letter, it would contemplate that the city would effectively work with the housing authority to transfer that particular parcel over to the housing authority for the purposes of addressing the issues that we're having concerning workforce and affordable housing. So that's what the agenda item will have in a nutshell, but I will have a letter drafted that I will share with the board prior to disseminating it to the housing authority and have it reviewed by legal. So they will have effectively a draft document that they can have immediately.
Yeah, I understand the letter, but what happens with the project itself? I mean, we're at a letter at this point, but we want to move this project forward. And I understand there are a lot of moving parts to this. There are legal issues. There are a lot of issues, just like any other project that we have. But I want to make sure that on the 6th, not only do we have a letter, but we have an agreement that we're moving forward with this project.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the letter and the resolution is what is going to effectively be provided. There are significant substantive items that we have had discussions with engineers and legal and the water management district, and they're having conversations about how to uncouple some things and how to resolve some things. So when we had the initial conversation, I said that this may have to be addressed in two tranches because of just the complexities concerning the Boys and Girls Club site, because it is a dry detention area and it is utilized. And so the definition of surplus is property that we don't utilize for any municipal purpose. It has a bona fide purpose right now. And so not that we can't resolve that, we can work to effectively resolve that. And that's what we are effectively trying to do. And so it's going to take us some time to work there, but the letter of support that they will need, I think, will help facilitate them being in the queue or in a favorable position to attempt to receive monies from Palm Beach County. And certainly we're going to be a partner and an advocate for them. But there are some things that we need to invariably check the box on before we declare it as surplus.
Go ahead.
I did hear them say something about March 30th. So is it March 7th or is it March 30th that the deadline is? I mean, if we have the meeting on the 6th, I mean, you mentioned the 30th, so.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Terry Booty. I am the Affordable Housing Consultant and Development Partner for the Riviera Beach Housing Authority. I just want to provide some clarity for the administration. The bond referendums have 3 application deadlines. March 7th is the application deadline for the workforce housing designation. What we are attempting to do is demonstrate site control through an amended process, which the city manager is going to write a letter. But the technicalities of this requires 2 things: a warranty deed. The conveyance process is what we've been working through for the last 90 days. And so what we're trying to do is enumerate that process, agree to the stipulations by the city manager, and effectively convey the parcels over to the Riviera Beach Housing Authority so they can demonstrate complete site control to all funding sources. So again, the county money is one level, but there are several levels in which we would need to invest in order to bring the project to fruition. And one of the things that is critical for that investment is site control. And site control is demonstrated through a warranty deed. This is essentially what we are working towards and what we need. And so what we are trying to do is do it in a way that follows the protocol and regulations that you stipulated through the surplus process, but do it expeditiously so we do not continue to miss out on what we need to bring the site plan to fruition and ultimately go vertical with the project.
So is it March 7th or March 30th?
It is March 7th now.
What is March 30th?
So March 7th is
March 30th.
March 30th. Ultimately, we are guesstimating the time in which the county review process, where they'll look at our application and they will see by that time we will have the conveyance process, so we can stipulate to the county and all of the people that review it that we actually do have the technical definition of site control.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Booty. Additional comments from the board? Madam Clerk, ordinance 8A.
Ordinance item 8A, ordinance number 4243, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, amending the Land Development Code, Chapter 31, zoning sections 31-1, 31-61, 31-141, 31-161, 31-187, 31-192, 31-197, 31-222, 31-242, 31-302, 31-322, 31-362, 31-382, 31-422, 31-487, and 31-536, creating sections 31-560, 31-561, 31-562, and 31-563, amending the definition of family, amending the definition of the terms multiple family dwelling and duplex dwelling, adding definitions for the terms assisted living facility, community residence, hospital, nursing home, recovery community, recovery residence, specialty medical facility, and specialty hospital, providing for severability, repeal of laws and conflicts, codification, and for an effective date.
Motion to approve ordinance number 4243.
Second.
Thank you. Motion been made and probably seconded. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment cards?
Mr. Chair, we do not have any public comment cards. The acceptance of cards is closed.
Thank you. Mr. Evans?
Mr. Chair and members of the board, I ask for the Director of Development Services to make these presentations to you concerning items that are on second and final reading brief, because you have seen them, and he can enumerate any changes that have been provided as a result of any modifications at the staff level or working with the applicants.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Welcome, Mr. Sermon.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, members of council, Honorable Mayor, Madam Attorney. For the record, I am Clarence Sermons, Director of Development Services for the City of Riviera Beach. As has been communicated, this ordinance is before you for second reading. There have been no changes in this item since first reading. We have cured the issue that arose the previous time this was before you regarding the notice, and it is ready for your decision this evening. That concludes the staff presentation. I am available for any questions.
Thank you. Question from the board? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson? Chair Pro Tem Lanier?
Yes.
Chair Lawson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. 8B?
Item 8B, ordinance number 4246, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, amending Chapter 10, licenses, Article 8, mobile vendors, Sections 10-262 through 10-268 of the city's Code of Ordinances to provide for regulations regarding mobile vendors dispensing food and other items, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in code, and providing an effective date. Mr. Chair, there are no public comment cards for this item. The acceptance of cards is closed.
Motion to approve ordinance number 4246.
Second.
It's seconded. Mr. Evans?
Mr. Chair and members of the board, I'll have the Director of Development Services to make this presentation.
Mr. Sermons?
Yes, Madam Chair. This is another item before you for second reading. Due to discussion during first reading of this item, there were two changes that were made to this ordinance. One definition was removed, and another was added per the recommendation from City Council. So those were the only changes of this between first and second reading, and the final version of this ordinance is passed out to you right now with those highlighted changes. Other than that, staff has properly advertised this item, and it is ready for your decision and vote.
Madam Clerk, do you have any public comments for this item?
Madam Chair, we do not have any public comment cards for this item.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier.
Yes.
The item passes.
Next item.
Please let the records reflect that the chairperson has stepped out. We are on item 8C, ordinance number 4257, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, amending chapter 31 zoning, the Land Development Code of the City of Riviera Beach, Article 5, Division 7, RM-15, zoning district, multifamily dwelling district, section 31-197, parenthesis A, uses permitted, approving a text amendment application to permit townhouse reviews as a permitted use by right in the RM-15 zoning district, multifamily dwelling district, providing for conflict, severability, and effective date, and other purposes.
Motion to approve ordinance number 4257.
Second.
Please let the record reflect that the chairperson has returned to the dais, and there are no public comment cards for this item. The acceptance of cards is closed.
Mr. Evans? Yeah, second.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, if I get the Director of Development Services, Mr. Clarence Sermons, to make this presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. This item before you was discussed on first reading. Due to those discussions, one change was made that instead of a special exception use of adding townhomes to this zoning district, the ordinance before you tonight now reflects townhomes as a use by right per recommendation of this body. Otherwise, there have been no changes since first reading, and this item has been properly advertised and is ready for your decision.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question from the board? Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Councilperson Botel, Chair Pro Tem Lanier, Chair Lawson.
Yes.
I see unanimous vote.
Thank you. 8D?
Item 8D, ordinance number 4255, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving an application ZA-23-0007 from Found Care Inc., applicant, requesting a zoning map amendment from a downtown residential district zoning designation and a single-family dwelling zoning district, RS-6, to rezone the western portion of the subject property to a downtown general zoning designation located at 3501 Broadway. Property control numbers 56-434228300010 and 56-43422800001060, and providing for an effective date and for other purposes. There are no comment cards for this item. The acceptance of cards is closed.
Motion to approve ordinance number 4255.
Second.
Mr. Evans?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, if I get the Director of Development Services, Mr. Clarence Sermons, to make this presentation.
Thank you again, Mr. Manager. Good evening again, Mr. Chair. If it is okay with the board, the presentation I have before you will cover the next 4 items on the agenda, as they are all related to the same development project. So the first component of this project was read into the record just a moment ago. It is located within the city, as indicated by the red dot on the screen before you now. The project location, shown on the visual before you now, is circumscribed in a red box to indicate the property subject to the proposed redevelopment. The applicant is requesting approval of a small-scale future land use amendment, a rezoning of the western portion of the property, an abandonment, a site plan approval, and a replat, which is not on tonight's agenda, but will come before you at a later date. The existing site is vacant. The two parcels associated with the proposed project are on the screen before you. They comprise a parcel of approximately 2.52 acres. The existing zoning is downtown residential, single family, and the future land use is downtown mixed use. The first of the applications relates to a abandonment request for the western portion of West 35th Street, as indicated by the survey document on the screen. Per section 29-66 of our land development code, there is an associated fee with the abandonment of a city right-of-way. That total comes to $65,812.47. The next component, future land use. Currently, the future land use of the property is single family, indicated by the yellow, as well as downtown mixed use by the hashed color here. The proposed future land use is to convert the entire property to downtown mixed use. As for zoning, there are 3 different designations on the property: downtown general, downtown residential, and RS6. The proposed rezoning would change the entire property to downtown general. The proposed site plan by the applicant is shown on the screen before you now, with the building near Broadway, creating an urban corridor per our downtown development regulations, with landscaping and potential sidewalk activation. The parking is to the rear of the building, along with detention at the rear of the property. On the screen now are 2 of the proposed elevations for the property, that which would face Broadway and that which would face south. Staff has reviewed this project against the comprehensive plan language, guiding what the city's vision is for the downtown area, and we do find it compatible with the objective. In addition to the future land use and comprehensive plan, we've also reviewed it against zoning, levels of service, compatibility, landscaping, lighting, parking, and traffic. And the review of this project was an effort of multiple city departments as well as organizations outside of the city. This hearing was properly noticed according to state law and city regulations. And staff recommends that City Council approve these items with the provided site plan conditions, including that the privilege fee must be paid within 30 days of approval of the associated resolution with this project, or that site plan approval would be null and void. All of the ordinances associated with the project must be approved before the site plan could become effective. With that, staff's presentation is concluded, and the applicant is here and available for questions, as is staff. And that will conclude the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Sermons.
Thank you.
Question from the board? Madam Clerk, you said we have no public comments?
There are no public comments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call?
Councilperson Patel? Yes. Councilperson Miller Anderson?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier? Yes. Chair Lawson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Madam Clerk?
Item 8E, ordinance number 4254, and an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving a request from Found Care Inc., requesting abandonment of the following right-of-way segment: the plus or minus 30 foot by plus or minus 232.09 foot street right-of-way, 35th Street, approximately plus or minus 6,960.32 square feet, in the area that bisects the property located at 3501 Broadway in Riviera Beach. Right of way dedication of 35th Street and along Avenue E in Riviera Beach, Florida. Attachment A, providing for an effective date. And for other purposes, there are no public comment cards. The acceptance of cards is now closed.
Motion to approve ordinance number 4254.
Second.
Made it properly seconded. Mr. Evans?
He stepped away.
Mr. Sermons, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff's previous presentation covered this item. There are no additional presentation materials. Staff is available for any questions that there may be.
Comments from the board? Well, Ms. Sermons, I just wanted to thank you for just following through with the request, and thank you to Found Care as well for fulfilling the abandonment fees and staying within our code. And that was definitely greatly appreciated. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Councilperson Votel,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier,
Yes.
Chair Lawson, unanimous vote.
Madam
Okay.
Clerk, 8F.
Item 8F, ordinance number 4256, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving a small-scale future land use map amendment to the City of Riviera Beach's comprehensive plan, approving application LU-23-0004 from Found Care Inc., located at 3501 Broadway. Property control numbers 564-342, 2830, 001, 0010, and 564342, 2800, 001, 0160 on approximately plus or minus 2.52 acres, which is plus or minus 109,967 square feet, requesting a land use plan amendment to change a future land use designation from the single-family residential up to 6 dwelling units per acre to a land use designation of downtown mixed use and providing for an effective date and for other purposes. There are no public comment cards for this item. The acceptance of cards is closed.
Motion to approve ordinance number 4256.
Second.
Made it properly seconded. Ms. Sermons?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Staff has no additional presentation materials for this item. Staff is available for any questions there may be.
Question from the board?
No.
Madam Clerk?
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson? Chair Pro Tem Lanier?
Yes.
Chair Lawson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
And regular agenda, 11A.
Item 11A, resolution number 26-24, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving site plan application number SP-23-0024 to allow plus or minus 20,000 square feet, two-story building, which includes a plus or minus 15,000 square foot health center, plus or minus 2,500 square foot restaurant with outdoor seating, and a plus or minus 2,500 square foot office space. The subject property is located at 3501 Broadway along the Broadway corridor, spanning between West 37th Street and West 34th Street, providing for an effective date and for other purposes. There are no comment cards to this item. The acceptance of cards is closed.
Motion to approve resolution number 26-24.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Sermons?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No additional presentation materials for this item. Staff is available for any questions that there may be.
Comments from the board? Well, before we go on, thank you guys. Thank you for your amazing commitment to our community. We look forward and we're excited to see this amazing facility. I was one of the people that were speaking out about making sure that we got this done with the highest and best use. But to this day, I'm very excited and honored to support it and look forward to working with you and doing our groundbreaking ribbon cuttings and opening this facility. So thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilperson Miller Anderson?
Yes.
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier? Chair Lawson?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. (11B).
Item 11B, Resolution 30-24, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement to allocate up to $150,000 in additional funding from account number 10117-103-512000 for the professional services agreement with CAP Government, Inc., a Florida corporation, authorized by Resolution 085-023 to provide building inspections, plan review, technician, and building official services ending November 15, 2027, and providing an effective date. Mr. Chair, we do not have any public comment cards on this item. The acceptance of cards is now closed.
Motion to approve resolution number 30-24.
Second.
Motion been made and properly seconded. Mr. Summers?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is related to an existing contract between the city and CAP Government Services, which was executed last year. Due to changes in staffing at the city, we have an increased need for the services provided by CAP Government. The purpose of this resolution before you is to provide an amendment to that contract that will increase the maximum spending amount per year with this service from $25,000 to $150,000 per fiscal year for each year remaining on that contract. Staff does believe this is in the best interest of the city and is available for any questions there may be before any decision or vote is taken by the board.
Question from the board? Mr. Sermons, question for you with CAP in this contract. Once we proceed with this contract, what is the means? I see that we have services ending 2027. Can we cancel this contract at any time?
I do believe there are provisions in the contract that will allow either party to dissolve it if certain guidelines are followed, but we would need to, again, the terms of the original contract have not changed. This item is only an amendment to the not to exceed amount in the contract.
Okay. And this is taking it from 25,000 to 150, I believe?
That's correct.
Thank you. Additional questions from the board?
Yes.
Ms. Millianson, go ahead.
So I know we still have quite a few vacancies in positions still.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, I know we've done our budget and everything, but are you finding that we're not able to compete because of private companies such as CAP, or we're losing them to other agencies because of the salaries?
It's a little, it's twofold. One is that there are some instances where we lose existing building staff to other municipalities. However, a region-wide and probably beyond issue is those who are certified for administration of the building code or licensed for it. Qualified candidates are very hard to come by, and I think it's an issue with trades and persons going into the trades around the country, and going into trades such as construction and carpentry is really hard to find a person's license for those things. So a lack of available candidates, and when we do get a person, they do have many options of different municipalities that they can go to, so we do lose them from time to time. And for that reason, it's very important to just always have these services available to the city when employment trends go up and down in terms of employment levels, just to make sure there's no disruption in service when we do lose employees or have trouble filling those vacancies. So we do believe this amendment will, for at least the next several years, allow us to not experience any gaps in services as it relates to plan review and inspections and things of the like.
And that was going to be my next question, going into how will this impact our response times and being able to get people's permits out? Is it going to speed it up a little more? Will we see a significant impact?
We don't foresee any significant impact. Anytime we have to transition workflows from something previously done by an in-house person to, third party, we do have to coordinate better to make sure they understand our processes and procedures. But otherwise, there wouldn't be any significant delays from this. And the company has shown itself to be very responsive in terms of—
I'm sorry, I didn't mean delays, but making it a little more expedited. Will it be quicker?
The company is very responsive in terms of when we plan or schedule an inspection, generally the next day they are ready to execute and get them done. So we believe that this would keep consistent the level of service that we have been offering. And this company is large, and in some instances, they can throw more people at certain jobs than we would be able to even when we are fully staffed. So this does offer a flexibility.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Additional comments from the board? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilperson Miller Anderson. Councilperson Botel.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Lanier.
Yes.
Chair Lawson.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. Comments from staff, starting with our executive director?
Don't we have 11? Oh, I'm sorry, we
No.
moved that. I forgot, right, good.
No comments, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. City Attorney?
Yes, sir. I have a closed executive session announcement to read. Pursuant to Florida Statute 286.0118D, Public Meetings and Records, and in a desire to obtain advice concerning litigation, I am requesting a time that the council is available for a closed executive session in the matter of Ashley Rhodes versus the City of Riviera Beach, case number 2022 CA0011252 XXXXMB. Outside counsel, along with the city attorney, is seeking a closed door session with counsel to discuss this current litigation. And I'd like to know if you're available on Monday, February 26, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. for this session. Therefore, a closed executive session will be held on February 26, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. at the City of Riviera Beach Public Works Training Room, 1481 West 15th Street, first floor, Riviera Beach, Florida, 33404, in the case of Ashley Rhodes versus City of Riviera Beach. Those persons in attendance will be myself, the City Attorney Dawn Nguyen, and/or Assistant City Attorney Keandria Davis, Defense Counsel David Gobio, Mayor Ronnie Felder, members of the City Council, City Manager Jonathan Evans, and a Florida court reporter authorized by the state of Florida. And the subject matter of this closed session will be restricted to the current litigation and strategy in the matter of Ashley Rhodes versus City of Riviera Beach.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Miller
I'm
Anderson,
sorry.
go ahead.
So, Mr. Evans, we have this special meeting on the 28th.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Mr. Evans?
No, we're not going to have that particular meeting. We received notification that not all the board will, at least the majority of the board won't be present. So that date is off the board. I am going to ask the board for a follow-up date, but for the 28th, there's no meeting.
Okay. But you won't be asking for that any other days that week?
No, it'll be sometime in March.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. What did you say, 6, 5:30? What did you say?
Monday, February 26th at 5:30 at the Public Works Building.
Okay.
Chair,
Pro Tem, go ahead.
Ms. Nguyen, could you send us out an invite so that we can have it on our calendar?
Yes, I was going to say you should have received one, but if not, you'll definitely receive it tomorrow.
I think I did.
Thank you, Attorney Nguyen. Comments from the board?
I have
I'm sorry, committee reports?
committee
Please.
On January 28th to 30th, I lobbied in Tallahassee with the Florida League of Cities. There are a number of pieces of legislation that will seriously negatively impact the city of Riviera Beach, and I hope that we're all in touch with our legislators because some of them are just really going to be tough for us from a financial standpoint. January 24th, I chaired the Palm Beach County League of Cities Board and General Membership meetings. And February 9th, I was at the Palm Beach North Chamber Government Affairs Committee meeting. And then the Palm Beach County Housing Steering Committee meeting, which is really exciting for us because Riviera Beach has been chosen to be the poster child, if you will, for implementing the Palm Beach County housing plan. So we're looking at all of the different regulations and issues that might impact us that would be part of that plan. So that's been an exciting thing to be with. And then in terms of my comments, just to let people know that the Palm Beach State College, City of Riviera Beach College Credit Certificate Program is alive and well, and Valerie Grimsley can be contacted about that. She's at vgrimsley@riverabeach.org. There are 2 college credit certificate courses that we'll be offering, Business Specialist and Logistics and Transportation. And so if you qualify for financial aid, the tuition will be paid by CareerSource with scholarships. So that's an exciting opportunity for people to get college credits. Thank you.
Comments for Pro Tem Lanier?
Yes, tomorrow, my office, in conjunction with the Coalition of Black Student Achievement, will present a portrait of a graduate. It is a collective vision for student success. It is talking about the attributes of children, school age, children are in middle school, high school students, and to lay out what it is that they need to know and need to have in terms of being an adaptable learner, creative and critical thinking, and engage in ethical community member. And there's a list of other items that graduates, starting with elementary school, should have these types of attributes before they graduate. This will be tomorrow night here, Thursday, February 22nd, from 6 to 7:30. It'll be over next door in the Hatcher Room, and there will be refreshments served.
Thank you, Pro Tem. Ms. Miller Anderson?
I have nothing.
Thank you. Mayor?
Nothing, Chair.
Mr. Evans, could you give us a quick update on the PBA contract? I know that you said you had come to an agreement. Has it been executed?
Mr. Chair, members of the board,
Ms. Evans?
our hope is to get this item on your first meeting in March. They're working on, we did come to a tentative agreement. Now they're working on cleaning up the articles and getting the document ready for finalization and a vote from the PVA.
Okay. Thank you. Director Brody from the library wants to address the winning score, its partnership with the City of Riviera Beach for Tuesday, February 27th, where they're going to be addressing financial perspectives, business plans, networking, leadership advice. And it's a free program from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the library, Tuesday, February 27th. This Saturday, Unique Men and the Police Department will be doing a community painting on First Street. I believe my colleagues were all invited this coming week. It's going to be at 9 a.m. It's going to be right on First Street. We're going to be partnering with Solid Waste Authority and also FP&L, Unique Men of Riviera Beach, and a police department. So please, colleagues, if you're available to come out 9 a.m. on Saturday. And last but not least, David Ehrenberg will be doing a Trailblazers of Palm Beach interview series from our police department. And it's going to be hosted by Ms. Sarita Spates. She'll be doing that on February 29th right here at the Marina. And we'll be interviewing David Ehrenberg at 6 p.m. Residents, with no further business, this meeting is adjourned.